Right, here we go. Been a couple of days. I mean, I've just been enjoying other games when I'm not doing work. So yeah, here we go. We're picking up where I left off. So I'm on the side of the road here. You see, sometime going forward, I would like to drive into Nuremberg. But I don't think today's gonna be that day. So yeah, here we go. I'm just finishing up my bagel that I just made, so effectively we're gonna hit the road once I'm done with that. I'm just gonna modify the radio. Okay, whoa, oh. Okay, there we go. Oh, we're already rolling. I need to see. I put my steering set back up, and there. Yeah, it seems like everything wants to anchor. Everything wants to break free from my steering wheel, but it is what it is. It'll stay put.
More matchy, hasn't it? And
Yeah. You see, in order to avoid getting copyright strikes, I cannot really listen to any music. At least, I cannot listen to any music that I like. So, it's really just talk radio that I just put on my... Okay. Whoa, I am leaning. I'm leaning. I gotta adjust my monitor screen while I'm driving.
Being thrown headlong into a black hole and no one's got the sense of any sense of what's going to happen around us is really, really worrying. Ray, thanks for the call. 03456060973 is the number. 84850 is text. You can tweet to tell me. Let me just bring you a piece of breaking news. These are some reports that we are getting at the moment. We haven't quite got absolute firm guidance on exactly where this is coming from. We think it's from local city officials in Paris. But there are reports of a gas explosion that has occurred in the 5th arrondissement of Paris, which is pretty central in Paris, that has set some houses ablaze as well. That's according to local city officials. We'll bring you more details on that. Plus,
the people who go on these voyages sign these waivers where on the first page alone it mentions death 3 times.
Rescuers in the mid-Atlantic estimate that the missing Titanic submersible has less than 20 hours of oxygen remaining. In a moment, we'll be joined by a man who was supposed to be on there with them. 4:31, news headlines, Amelia Cox.
2 people have been stabbed at Central Middlesex Hospital in northwest London, with one in a life-threatening condition. Officers have arrested a man who they believe is suffering from self-inflicted wounds. The Prime Minister says the best way to support homeowners is by lowering inflation, despite rates remaining stubbornly high. Rishi Sunak has been accused of being responsible for a mortgage catastrophe, as the Consumer Prices Index stayed at 8.7% in May. And Jose Mourinho has been handed a 4-match suspension by UEFA after confronting an English referee. The Roma coach faced widespread criticism for his behaviour following last month's Europa League final. LBC weather, any showers clearing to leave a dry night across the UK, a low of 7 degrees.
LBC, Nick Ferrari at breakfast.
12 months of industrial action from rail companies. General Secretary of the RMT, Mick Lynch, the Yammer, is in Croydon.
Do you think that if all the unions get together, you would have a stronger case?
People have got to rise up to make their...
So is that what we need now? Union collaboration?
I'm going to the TUC straight after this meeting. We need coordination. We need to have a wave of protest. It needs to be against poverty.
Nick Ferrari at breakfast. Back tomorrow morning from 7. Listen on your radio and on Global Player. LBC.
You can't put a price on togetherness or excitement.
The Black Forest of Germany.
And
This
you can enjoy
looks
them even more
pretty impressive.
when you hear every moment.
Yeah, the Germany
Our
rework
best-selling
has
hearing
worked
aids are up
wonders
to
to a certain
£300
extent.
off and come with a 90-day money-back guarantee. Book your free hearing check today at bootshearingcare.com. Boots, with you for life. See bootshearingcare.com for details.
If loose and missing teeth or dentures affect the foods you can eat and make you feel embarrassed about your smile, speak to TDC about how we can restore full sets of teeth, your smile, and your confidence.
I walked out there with a great big beaming smile, so it was great.
To learn more and to book a consultation, visit smileingaday.co.uk or call TDC Harley Street on 0203 733 4986. We're now part of Bupa.
Think you're ready for Sky's next generation full fiber broadband? Think again. You want it bigger. It's not just fast, it's full fiber fast. We're rolling out game-changing speeds on the UK's most reliable broadband technology. Get ready for broadband that blows you away. Sky Broadband Full Fiber. Built for entertainment.
Selected areas only. Ofcom UK Home Broadband Performance Report, October 2022. See sky.com.
When Greg received his Amazon delivery, his world started spinning. Eco wash and automatic load adjustment. This washing machine was pure quality for a price
There we
that
go.
didn't rinse his wallet. 5 stars from Greg. With star reviews from you and star prices from us, start your search on Amazon today.
Sending business documents or goods abroad can be a hassle. Customs paperwork, duties, taxes and regulations can cause a real headache. It's no wonder business owners reach out to the helpful experts at Mailboxes, etc. We find the right carrier for every package and can even help with packing too. Search Mailboxes, etc. because we're the team that delivers worldwide. Trust the right partner for your business. People possible.
Tom Swarbrick on LBC.
With Enterprise. See one of their neighbourhood locations on near you.
4:35 the time.
Yeah, I do see a lack of...
If you want a warning in respect of breaking interest rate convention, all this amateur armchair economics is dangerous. Yes, the Turkish inflation is out of control. I think, is it like 70%, 80%? Meanwhile, Luke in East Finchley, this is really interesting, Luke. I didn't know this. The big 4 banks in Australia are prepared for interest hikes that borrowers can't afford. They will allow the same...
Yeah, don't mind me. I'm dealing with flies.
Time added to the length of the loan to make up the difference. Right, so they know what they're going to do. They're going to make mortgages unaffordable for people. But in order to allow people to stay in their homes who can otherwise afford their mortgages, they'll just extend their loan to the point where they're paying the same and then pay it off that way. You know, the 20-year goes to a 30-year or whatever. Did not know that. That's really interesting. We need something like that here. Brad is the first time calling Beckenham. Brad.
Tom, hi, yeah, long-time listener, first-time caller. Yeah, really, really interesting what your previous caller was saying and all that last message coming in. Yeah, my call today was just really about, have we really learned our lesson from the last financial crash, and have we really started to keep an eye on what's happening? We seem to be so focused on the now, and we don't seem to be focusing on what is down the road. And I'm no financial expertise, but I would say that things are going to get very hairy next year, financially, for the country, for individuals. And if you think things are going to be bad now, by the autumn, they're going to be worse.
Why? What makes you be the prophet of doom on this, Brad?
I mean, one always has to look for when the next financial bubble is going to occur, and there, unfortunately, is going to be
full speed ahead.
And all we seem to be doing,
fucking hell,
Governor of Bank of England seems to be doing, is just feeding fuel to a fire that they can't put out. And my concern is that, since 2008, the world, the technology has changed, banking has changed. If people want to do a run on the bank,
that is an interchange from hell. Wow.
Yes, but I mean, all this is profit or do stuff, but I haven't heard a real sense of why this time it's going to be really, really bad. Because, to be fair, looking around the world at places where interest rates have been paused, they've been paused at a point because inflation is starting to come down. It's just we haven't reached yet that point with our interest rates. They're not as high.
I think there are other factors. I think we keep being told about looking at interest rates, and everything's about interest, and the interest rates going up. We're not looking at bond markets. We're not looking at bond yields that the government is selling, and if we're not really factoring in the unemployment figures into all of this. I could be wrong. Maybe you've had previous callers that have.
But it's a fair bit, and unemployment is incredibly low. And I guess part of the effect of what they're doing to the economy is going to mean that, unfortunately, unemployment will rise, which is a terrible thing to think, but this is part of what they're trying to achieve. And extraordinary, really. Brad, thank you very much indeed for the call. On borrowing, the bond markets in particular, not to be lost in the numbers that came out today is the state of the overall economy, and by that I mean government borrowing.
Whoa, what's with
Debt
my
to GDP is
frame
now
spikes?
over 100%.
Jeez.
First time since the early 60s. We are now over 100% debt to GDP. And one of Sunak's priorities is to get debt falling. That's not happening, it's going up. And it also means that the amount that the government spent on the debt interest in 1 month last month. Actually, do you know what? I'm going to have a guess.
Here we go, Frank Fats.
Hard one, this. Have a guess how much in 1 month the government spent on the interest it accrued on its own debt. See who gets closest. Just as a quick thing, 84850. In billions, how much was the government debt interest last month? Ian's in Cardiff. Ian.
The answer's 20 billion.
Nearly.
Basically, I mean, I'm slowly losing the will to live with the skip fire that is the UK at the moment. But taking a few steps back from this, right? Let's look at some of the characters that we've got in charge at the moment, right? So one of your previous callers was talking about Andrew Bailey. Just to give you listeners a sort of brief synopsis of this man's CV, he was previously head of the Financial Conduct Authority, where he did a terrible job. He was then appointed to Governor of the Bank of England by Boris Johnson, which tells you everything you need to know about that man's, capabilities. The issue with
my inner child is coming out through the city.
Whatever they are, is that two of them are diametrically opposed to each other. Right? It is now official government policy to drive the country into a recession in order to reduce inflation. Right? I don't think we've ever had an official government policy where we want to have a recession to reduce inflation. I can't think of that anywhere. Right? The simple fact of the matter is that the UK is in a worse position than pretty much all of the G7 on this, for two reasons. One is government policy, which is absolutely shambolic. And the second, and we've got to be honest about this, is Brexit, right? Because what is the difference between the UK and the other aspects of the G7 is that we are now importing inflation into this country at a rate higher than our G7 partners, right? You know, you had Sunak in Parliament today lecturing on macroeconomics, right? And I can tell you, having met Rishi Sunak, he doesn't understand macroeconomics, right? Rachel Reeves understands macroeconomics because she's an economist, right? Rishi Sunak does not. He is way out of his depth.
Yeah,
here,
I am.
And he's facing one of the biggest problems that we've had in the last.
This is not a good day.
Years. With the likes of Andrew Bailey and Jeremy Hunt around it.
Interesting.
So what would you say that they need to do differently if you think
I'll tell you one of the things that they need to do differently. They need to have a coherent energy policy, which they've not had for 13 years, right? And we ended up in this situation in great part because we were so susceptible to an energy price shock, right? And what is being proposed on the other side of the aisle with GB Energy and a significant investment in local renewables is absolutely what we need to have. You know, it staggers me that Sunak's line, even today and consistently, is that, oh, that's a just stop oil policy. I mean, what is he talking about, right? You know, we have to have a coherent energy policy in this country. And
I think part of that, sorry to interrupt, I think not just an energy, but we need an actual strategy for industry. We've never had an industrial strategy in 13 years. So that really needs to start happening properly, thought through, with plans attached, as opposed to just jumping from one knee-jerk reaction to the next, which is what it feels like we're going through at the moment. Ian, thank you. You mentioned Brexit. I'm interested to take soundings on what effect you think Brexit is having on all of this. And by the way, that number, when Ian talks about government spending is government borrowing. There's no sort of big pot of money that they can draw on from a rainy day fund. They're borrowing it largely. They're largely borrowing all of it. The debt interest payment last month alone was 9.4 billion. That's the entire budget of the Ministry of Justice for 1 year.
Wow.
And that was the debt interest payment for 1 month. We're screwed. I mean, that's incredible. What is the government going to be spending money on? Where's it going to get the money from? It's going to have to borrow it at increased rates. And what's it going to spend it on, which will possibly be inflationary, as we were hearing too? 0345 6060 973 84850 to text. You can tweet at LBC. More of your calls to come. 4:45.
LBC Travel, I'm Dave. Golf on the trains. Services are severely disrupted between Euston and Watford Junction because of an investigation, so that's affecting Advancing West Coast, London Overground, Southern and London North Western railway services. On the Tube, there's no service on the District Line between Parsons Green and Wimbledon, and severe delays between Edgware Road and Parsons Green because of a fire alert. On the roads, it's very slow on the M25 clockwise. There's one lane closed because a lorry is having a tyre change between junction 15 for the M4 and junction 16 for the M40. There are queues in South Woodford on the North Circular. Westbound, there's one lane closed at Waterworks Corner because of emergency repairs, and it's heavy in Twickenham. Chertsey Road southbound, partly blocked after the Hospital Bridge roundabout. That's because a car has broken down.
LBC.
Every day I'm hustling.
Boost! That is too much. Boost. Too little. Boost. What is that? Boost your credit score for free instantly by up to 101 points. Only with Experian Boost. Nice. Before you do credit, do Experian first. Free Experian account linked to your current account is required. Score increased subject to status. Not all lenders use Boost.
Call Tom Swarbrick 0345 6060 973 LBC.
In a crisis, service matters. You need an energy supplier you can trust. Which surveyed more than 10,000 energy customers. They independently reviewed the performance of every major supplier. Their in-depth assessment covered customer service, support for those in need, and how well companies dealt with complaints. Only one measured.
Oh, hello.
Octopus Energy is the only
75 miles per hour.
Octopus Energy.
It's been a while since I've hit that speed. We're just limited to 110 kilometers an hour, which is 68 miles per hour.
Our personal best. Our steps aren't the only thing we track. Our smart meter display at home tells us how much energy we use daily, weekly, and monthly, which can help me make changes to save energy. And now my watch tells me it's time to head back for a cuppa. Right, Chico?
For extra help managing your household budgets, search Get a Smart Meter today. Consumer action required. Eligibility may vary.
Did you know Vodafone launched the UK's fastest Wi-Fi technology throughout the home?
Really?
Uh-oh.
Yep.
So what does that mean?
That means
Oh,
you can
I'm
game,
gonna have to
stream,
pull
and
over,
surf
guys.
at speed in every room.
Bedroom?
Yep.
Bathroom?
Yep.
Something's
Yep.
popped up that
If you
requires
have-
urgency, so I may have to end the stream.
Yep. Switch to Vodafone
And I might
Pro
be
2
back
broadband,
later.
the UK's fastest Wi-Fi technology throughout the home.
UK broadband providers offering comparable plans based on UK average to your home. Check availability in your area. Verify at vodafone.co.uk/broadband.
Protect your devices with one of the UK's most trusted cybersecurity solutions, rated excellent on Trustpilot. ESET Digital Security. Progress.
Okay. I might be back.